transferred from a rather big school, especially in comparison to this, it's easy to fall to the wayside in a bigger college, where here it feels more personal.
They're concerned about our whole academia. Everybody is just involved in your education. It's not even just the teachers.
To be a student athlete, obviously the student comes first. And so going to class each day, making sure your grades are important to you, because that is the first word in student athletes.
My favorite thing about Andrew College is the one-on-one help and just knowing everybody.
So we could expect small classes, faculty to student ratio 1 to 10, 1 to 14. You get hands-on experience. You get it both at our Sustainable Agriculture Community Garden, as well as we have partnerships with surrounding farms such as W.C. Bradley.
We have a state-of-the-art simulation lab where nurses can really practice the skills that are necessary once you get into live person situations.
I think we're really unusual in the kind of performances we get to do. I have the luxury of tailoring what I choose for the season to fit the company that I have.
The elementary education program is a very one-on-one atmosphere for us students here at Andrew College, and it's very easy to figure out what we are doing in our future.
I love Andrew College because it has built me as a person to develop on who you are and learn who you are for yourself.
They really are concerned about us, so I know I'm going to be successful here at Andrew College.
Thank you very much for joining us this evening. We're so excited to have our esteemed panelists that will be presenting and talking more about Andrew College. We hope you enjoyed the video. My name is Brad Johnson. I'm the Vice President of Higher Ed Partnerships here at Plexus, and I'm honored and excited to serve as the moderator for today's event. This workshop is scheduled to be roughly 45 minutes, and we'll address questions and answers throughout the duration of the workshop, and in particular at the end of the workshop as well. Now, each of our esteemed panelists will help you, our audience of students and parents, learn more about Andrew College. We'll talk about admissions, financial aid, student life, athletics, student activities, and much, much more. So we are very excited about our workshop this evening. A couple of the ground rules for our audience, our students and parents that are listening in. There's a Q&A button, a navigation bar at the bottom of your screen. Please feel free to ask questions, type in questions throughout the workshop. And then we will make sure to get to those questions either during the workshop, at the end of the workshop, but it is our goal to make sure that we address all of your questions. But don't hesitate, even starting now. Go ahead and ask questions throughout. And then you see on your screen a poll as well. We will be providing a poll towards the end of the workshop. Additionally, we will be talking about scholarships, and you'll hear a lot about affordability and how affordable Andrew College is. So many positives from Andrew College. So I'm very excited to hear about from our speakers. Additionally, for those that stay through the duration of the workshop, you'll receive a certificate of attendance signed by the Executive Director of Admission and Marketing at Andrew College and also the CEO of Plexus. All right, so without further ado, let me present our speakers and presenters. So Heather Bradley, Paige Stout, and Daphne Harden. And let's go ahead and kick things off with Heather Bradley. So Heather serves as the Executive Director of Admissions and Marketing at Andrew College. She's passionate about student success and many other things. And boy, she can talk about Andrew College and just so many positive things about the institution. And so Heather, I'm very excited to hand the baton over to you and go ahead and take it away.
All right, thank you so much. Well, first of all, welcome everyone. We are just honored to have this time with you this evening and really appreciate you wanting to learn more about Andrew College. So whether you are a student who is exploring your options or a parent that's helping guide your child or maybe even a counselor that's trying to help find the right fit for your students, we're excited to introduce you and tell you a little bit more about Andrew College. As Bradley said, I am the Executive Director of Admissions and Marketing. I've been with Andrew College since 2020, and I am very passionate about working here in Southwest Georgia for such a wonderful college that is truly all about making sure that we are a place where purpose meets direction. So we'll tell you a little bit more. All right. So one of the things that, of course, most colleges and universities are going to have, they're going to have a mission, right? So our mission, the thing that just draws me to the center of it, and I'll spare you from reading this to you, but the thing that I really want to point out is that we are all about preparing our students for lives of servant leadership. So we want you to become the best of whatever it is that your goals are. And so we feel like that one of the really important things is to know that no matter where you're going in life and no matter what you're set to become, you have a purpose and we have a plan. And one of those things that we really pride ourselves on is helping students to become, as you become a leader, you must learn how to serve. And it helps to engage our students and help them learn, because in our lives, even after we graduate college and go on to our careers, giving back to our community is really important. And that's at the core of our mission. So just wanted to be sure to mention that. And as I mentioned, we've got students from all over. You can kind of see a little map there, kind of pinpointing where we are in Cuthbert, Georgia. And as I mentioned, it is in Southwest Georgia. And we are all about students figuring out who it is and where they're going and really trying to help nurture them. And in that chiseling process, parents, for those of you who are listening right now, I know that this is a very trying time for you all as well. I can completely understand because I have a daughter in college. And so I'm right there with you. I had all the feelings, all the feels, all the anticipation. And I know that this is a joint decision a lot of times with families, are the guidance people that are in our lives to help us go in the right direction. And that's what, you've raised up these young people to become all that they're meant to be. And you've been this village, and we are excited to be an extension of that village. So we want to help those students find direction and find that purpose. And just a few quick facts about Andrew College. We are really in a period of growth right now, and it is an exciting time to be on campus. We have one of the lowest priced private colleges in Georgia, and 99% of our qualified students receive financial aid. You're going to hear a little bit more about that. I won't steal Daphne's thunder, but and then Paige is going to tell you a little bit more about our athletic teams, and those have been continuing to grow. And the servant leadership program, that's going to speak to that mission. And there's ways to get involved and serve on campus. There's organizations that you can get involved in, and Paige is going to tell you a little bit more about that. But one thing that I really am so proud of, and that is our 24/7 online tutoring program. So I've been there, parents, when or students, when you're studying and maybe it's a concept you're just not grasping, but now it's midnight and you're up and maybe your roommate is no help, or your parents, better than to call them late, but you're going to have a free resource that you can reach out, and within a matter of minutes, if you're having trouble with a subject, you're going to be able to get some help. So we have that is online, but then also free to our students, we have our Academic Success Center. And so again, we want you to be chiseled right from the start. We want you to have those resources free to use. So you have in-person tutoring as well as a writing center. So say maybe you're writing a paper for a class, and maybe that's not your strong suit. So you want somebody to look over something to make sure that you're headed in the right direction. Absolutely, you can make an appointment and meet with the some of the tutors in the writing center and make sure that you're getting started in the right direction. And I'll tell you one thing that I always stress, and I say this even to my own daughter: don't wait until you're feeling like you're behind in something, go ahead, use those free resources and really use them to the best of your ability. And another thing, career services, we're very excited that we are offering that for our students. We have this tailor-made to make sure that our students are successful, not just while they're at Andrew College, but then beyond in whatever career path that they've chosen. And then what are you going to go into, right? Where are we gonna study? Well, we have, and we continue to add multiple programs of study. We are not just an associate 2-year institution any longer. We do have 4-year bachelor programs. And so you can see we've got a long list of different things that you can get involved in. There's even online classes that are available. We do offer a dual enrollment program, but this list of programs of study, we really we try to look at what the changing trends are and what the again, you need to look at what is it that you want to do, and then maybe even consider what kind of money is it that you're going to make? Is there job availability? And we've really tried to closely align our program offerings and our programs of study with what the trends are, and not just in trending, but in making sure that it is good for longstanding. I see we have a question. It says, in the future, will we have technology-based programs of study? There are some of the things that we are actually looking at, and we can, talk a little bit about that. But I think that one of the things that I'm really proud of is that when we're looking at technology-based types of things, I don't know specifically what this student is looking at, but if you are coming to Andrew College and you want to start out and say that you have something, a specialized degree that you want to go into, then you can start out with any of your core subjects, but we are constantly looking at different programs to offer. But if you had something specific that you wanted to go into and you wanted to give Andrew a try, maybe this is what you feel like is a good fit for you, you wouldn't have to worry about those credits transferring because we are SACS accredited, and I'll get into that in just a moment. So I've talked a little bit about the Writing Center. Another thing that's really great is that you have faculty, mentors, and advisors. So every time it comes time to make your schedule and get things set up for your classes, you're going to be able to meet one-on-one with someone who can help guide you through this process and make sure that you're on track with where you need to be. And in addition to the tutoring that's offered by the Writing Center and the Academic Success Center and the online tutoring, we also have peer tutoring. So maybe you're a person that is just really strong in a particular subject, and you might be interested in becoming a peer tutor yourself. Those opportunities will be afforded to you. And I talked a little bit about the accreditation, and it's really important. And I think that, and I say this to both the students and the parents and anybody that's listening, it's important to know that when you are, getting a degree and you are making sure that you are, being a good steward of your resources, you want to know that that is an accredited institution, and we're proud to be accredited by SACS. So we've been part of this organization, and of course we list the contact information, but we'd like our students to know that if they take credits or take classes, that those credits will transfer. And again, it's oftentimes you do have your different colleges that may have some different course offerings that, maybe an intro freshman class that only they offer. You might have some different things like that will vary from institution to institution, but English 101 is going to be the same at Andrew College. It may not be the same exact format from the teachers, but our programs are accredited by SACS, and you don't have to worry about that transferring. So those are the things to really feel good about. And then where to live. So if you're looking at, living and experiencing dorm life, we have a lot of different options for our students. And as I mentioned, because we're growing, we are even adding new options. So the Fellowship Hall is our latest addition. We did incorporate that in this last fall, in this last school calendar year. And as you can see, according to the statistics, 80% of our students do live on campus. You do have RAs or resident assistants on each floor. And we do offer Synergy Security, which is our on-campus security. So parents, you can have peace of mind knowing that those different, things that you might be concerned about your student. We've got people that are going to be looking out for them, and they're going to make sure that they're safe. Okay. So another thing that you don't see on every campus is free laundry services. I think it's an awesome thing that we're able to offer this for our students. And so you bring the detergent and you can wash your clothes. So that's great. So the question in the chat is, do we accept IB credit? We can find out a little bit more. I guess that might be similar to AP credit. And if it is, then absolutely. That is those types of evaluations of transcripts and things like that, that is handled by our registrar. And, they'll take a good look at that. Another thing to talk about while we're talking about the credits that we take and different things. So say that you're taking college classes while you are in high school. Well, that is wonderful. That's great. And you want to know, is that going to transfer over? Absolutely. What you need to do is make sure that not only if you're a high school student, you need to make sure that in addition to sending over your high school transcript, that you also include the college transcript for whoever is issuing that course. You're taking that course. Yes, it may be at your high school, but typically, as you know, they're going to be offered by a college. So just be sure, and you can order those transcripts usually from a transcripting service like Parchment. So just be sure when you're getting your transcripts, don't forget, just because it's listed on your high school transcript, you want to be sure that you do get that college transcript. And I see another question asking the average tuition if I'm abroad. The tuition is going to be the same because we are a private institution. It's going to be the same regardless of where you live. Obviously, it's going to be cheaper if someone does not reside on campus. But Daphne's going to give a deeper dive into the numbers of that, so I won't steal her thunder. But if you're abroad, you do have to follow the plan with CVIS for getting that information. And we actually on our website have an international roadmap that's very helpful to guide you through that process. Is Patterson Quad similar to a tiny house? If it is, will I have to have a roommate? It is. So the Patterson Quads, those are shared, and they're quads because they have 4 different rooms in those houses. And so you would have roommates in that. And typically most of our, all of our residential areas on campus, you would have a roommate unless you had to have for specific reasons and needed to provide information on that. But, typically we have dorm style, settings for most things, but the quads are a little bit different. And then you can see here, we just have this as part of one of the things that we include on the back of our view book and our current view book that's available. You can see where we're located. It kind of shows you how we're juxtaposed between Florida and Alabama there, and just kind of the average distance for some of the places that surround our areas that you may be familiar with. And we do invite you to check out our socials. We need to update. I just realized I've got an old Twitter logo there. I need to update to X, but we do have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X. And of course, we want you to check out our website. And so the website is if you have not applied and you're interested in attending Andrew College, please visit www.andrewcollege.edu. That is where you can find apply buttons. And the great thing about that is you can apply for free. And if you're having an issue or anything that you run into a snafu or something and having a roadblock and needing some help, please reach out to our offices. We're here to help. And that's one of the things that we really pride ourselves on, is being able to offer, because we're smaller, a real concierge type service. And again, parents, I say that to you as well. So if you're, Daphne's going to talk a little bit more about the FAFSA and completing that. But, part of discovering your future here at Andrew and beginning your academic journey for the students is we really want to personalize your educational experience. And we want to be that supportive community. So if you need help with, if parents, you're filling out that FAFSA and you need some help because something's not working right, or, students, again, if you're any part of the admission process or while you're here, we want to be that supportive community for you. All right. Well, I think Bradley, I think we're going to do questions at the end. I tried to catch some questions as we were navigating through. I had my little window open there. I don't know if I missed anything, but yeah. I see there's a question about the engineering programs that I didn't get to. I do invite you to, again, visit the website. I don't want to take away from anybody else's time here, but I'll try to kind of just answer that briefly so I can give you some direction. But you can find out more about all of the programs at andrewcollege.edu. And I do want you to know that if you need to reach out to me specifically, you can contact me at heatherbradley@andrewcollege.edu. I'm happy to answer your questions.
Excellent. Well, Heather, that was great. Thank you so much. You're clearly passionate about Andrew College for good reason. And I did want to throw a question your way, if that's all right.
Sure, absolutely.
So when we talk about, and you had mentioned this, so students away from home, especially in particular freshman students, but you can elaborate on that. For many students, it's their first time away from home. So how do you make sure, and what tools does Andrew College have to make sure that that freshman student, in many cases, or that transfer student feels welcome and really becomes involved and also has the tools that they need from a mental health standpoint, from a physical standpoint, things like that? Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question, and something that I'm glad that you brought up because I failed to mention. So Timely Care is another wonderful resource that we offer for free to our students. So say that you get a sinus infection, you're not feeling good, parents, you're stressed because they're not home and you can't, go to your typical, doctor that you've always taken them to. Timely Care is a free resource that is telehealth, and again, free to our students. They can be seen over telehealth. And again, they also, if a student is having issues, maybe they need somebody to talk to. Maybe they just need to have a person to speak with about some mental health issues. We do have some places here locally that we are wonderful partners of ours, but we also have that through Timely Care, because sometimes it just is that we maybe need that virtual appointment to help us just kind of, air out our feelings and kind of just have somebody that is a neutral party to listen to us. And of course, we want to make sure, again, that our students are safe and that they're provided for, not just in educational setting or in whatever clubs or organizations that they're involved in, but from their whole person and their health, both, their physical health and their mental health.
Heather, thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
Pleasure.
And now Paige Stout, definitely excited to introduce you. Paige is going to cover a number of things. She's going to talk about athletics, student success, student life, student recreation, and much, much more. So Paige, I'm very excited to introduce you. So I'll go ahead and I'll hand the baton over to you and take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Bradley. Really appreciate it. Thanks everybody for taking some time out of your day to come and learn a little bit more about Andrew College and everything we kind of have to offer here in Southwest Georgia. Like Bradley said, my name's Paige Stout. I'm the Sports Information Director and Assistant Director of Marketing here at Andrew College. I'm from Ohio, as you can probably see there, and I've been with Andrew College for about 2 years now. Wearing many hats, and have just really, fell in love with the small community and the small school and organization that we have here. I was a Division II basketball player up in Ohio. So like it kind of states there, I definitely understand the balance of being a student athlete, what it kind of takes to, excel at your sport as well as in the classroom. So I'm just really excited to kind of talk about the athletic side of things, recreation, and just kind of the different things that the students will be involved in here on campus. All right, so we starting this fall, so in 2024, sorry about that. We started off with 11 sports. We had a first year season for our football team, our men's wrestling team, as well as we have competitive cheer. So Those 3 sports are brand new this school year and honestly have excelled in every shape and form. Our football team for their first season went 5-2, which has been really great. Our wrestling team, we had the very first All-American already and in year 1, and they made the national tournament year 1 as well as the whole team, not just like one individual wrestler, but the entire Andrew College team made it to the national tournament, which has been awesome for them. And then our competitive cheer team was ranked 6th nationally in the national tournament as well. So just coming right out of the gate with these 3 new sports have just excelled tremendously on the field or court or the mat. So along with that, we have our baseball team a few years back. They went to the World Series, which we were really excited for. We also have volleyball, men's and women's basketball, men's and women's soccer, golf. We had, I believe it was last year, we had a golfer in the national tournament as well, and softball. Coming up this fall, we're so excited to kind of extend our athletic program from 11 sports to 14 as we add competitive dance, women's wrestling, as well as women's flag football. Like really excited to see those grow as well. And our competitive cheer is actually going to go from a women's sport to co-ed at the same time. So really trying to grow in our athletic footprint here in Georgia, Southwest Georgia area, and just really help our students kind of continue their passion as an athlete while helping them on, in the classroom as well, which has been really awesome to see. We currently are in the NJCAA, which is the National Junior Conference Athletic Association, and we compete in the GCAA against your other junior colleges. We are Division I in the GCAA, so that top division there, as well with the NJCAA leagues as well. Outside of athletics, because I know that athletics isn't everything, and hopefully you're not playing year round. So when there is some downtime, we like to offer a plethora of different activities for our students. As you can see here, these are just a couple of the kind of graphics and the way that we advertise some of the different things that we have going on campus. Flag football, for instance, you can see the kickball, and we go as kind of creative as throwing out Family Feud and soap making. I know that they do bag making as well. So we really try to not just do your stereotypical, intramural sports like that. We really want to just kind of do some different things to really help our students kind of come together, not just hang out with their teammates and different things like that, but like come together and just have a really great time. One of the pictures in the middle you see there, that's our theater. You can get involved with our theater, which is a great, we have a great theater program here. That picture is from our recent murder mystery, which our professor makes it up and it's like a written show that she puts on. So it is different every single year, and it's so much fun. It gets performed in front of our community, and a lot of people really love it. It's something that, everybody kind of comes together for from Andrew College and Cuthbert, Georgia. You can get involved with our SGA. We actually just had our presidential debate today in the theater, I believe. And so if you want to kind of have that voice, you can be part of the Student Government Association. We like to take those adventures. As you can see, Adventure Day, we do have, they call it the Little Grand Canyon, Providence Canyon, which is not very far for hikes and different team building activities and a lot of the stuff like that. So we really try to pride ourselves on, making sure that there's plenty for our students to do to meet new people and have a great time outside, inside, and just a various things that we offer. And this is kind of, I just wanted to throw this in here as well. This is just kind of a schedule. This was around the Easter break. So we do a lot of movie nights. I think we did a March Madness watch party for the basketball tournaments. Spike ball you see there, you know, video game. I'm not sure exactly which video game, but they'll just do various things. We have cornhole boards, and just so much more that, you know, we kind of offer. Obviously, we have the Easter egg hunt, which is really exciting and fun for everybody. And then the staff versus student volleyball game. It's kind of fun seeing, you know, the competitive spirits of some of our staff and faculty kind of get on the court, whether it's volleyball or basketball, usually is what it is. But it's still a really great time and something that just kind of gets the whole campus together. I see the question here. So yes, we do have recruitment for our sports. We can do, if you go on our athletic website, it's andrewfightingtigers.com. That is going to take you to our athletic website, which lists schedules and rosters. And if you're interested in one of our sports, I believe we have a prospective questionnaire that you can fill out depending on what sport you are interested in, and that goes directly to the coach. So that way the coach has all your information and they can get in contact with you if you're still interested in different things like that. There are scholarships that also come for sports as well, just depending on, you know, what you talk about with the coach and different things like that. Activities during the week of a holiday. Typically our activities, Heather can answer this, but we do, if we have students on campus, there is more than likely activities happening. So we even, sometimes we'll have camps during the summer as well, where some students, if they live close enough, they'll help out with. But yes, if we have students there, we typically will try to have activities for something for them to do, so.
Excellent. Well, Paige, thank you so much
Yeah.
for your time. That was great. I love that information. And I have a question for you, if that's okay.
Of course.
So you were a former college athlete, and I noticed that staff could play with the current athletes. Do you participate?
Yes, I do. I gotta get my workout in. So, and I also gotta make sure that the students know that I'm probably better than them. So we gotta, my competitive edge is definitely still there. So, but no, it's always a fun time. It's great because, sometimes these students don't know what faculty and staff can play a sport. And so when you get here, it's just a good kind of like just camaraderie is just really built throughout the whole campus. So yes, I do participate. As long as I don't hurt myself, it's actually a good time.
Well, excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time. That was so great. Now we have Daphne Harden, our Director of Financial Aid. Daphne has a history of experience, 37 years of experience in higher education at a number of different institutions. And so, Daphne, I'll go ahead and hand the baton over to you. Thank you so much for participating this evening. And you're on.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. I've been at Andrew College for almost 8 years, and I have to say we offer a very close-knit campus vibe where professors actually care and want to see you succeed. And it's a place where you can explore your interests, figure out your next move, and feel supported every step of the way. But let's be real. One of the biggest things on your mind is probably, how do I pay for college? Well, here's the good news. Andrew College makes it affordable. Like over 99% of our students get financial aid, and we work hard to make sure that money doesn't stand in the way of your education. As for financial aid, we offer a full range of financial aid options, including the federal Pell Grant. We have state aid for Georgia residents, which include HOPE, Zell, and Georgia Tuition Equalization Grant. We have the federal work study. We have student loans that are manageable and with flexible, low interest options, and of course scholarships. And I'll go over that in a few, but on our first slide that we've got here, as you can see, once you factor in scholarships an aide, your cost to attend Andrew College may be comparable or even less than many private and public residential colleges. Here's a breakdown of our tuition, our housing, and the meal plan for each semester and the total for the year. We don't have those hidden fees or out-of-state tuition charges that most institutions do. With our small classes, our caring faculty, and our strong academic programs, we believe that you will find that the value of an Andrew College education to be worth the cost. On the next slide, yes, it all starts with completing the free application for federal student aid. And from now on, you will probably want to refer to it as the FAFSA, because it's a lot easier to say, and everyone that has applied before it will know exactly what you're talking about. Most people used to dread having to complete the form, but it's a lot shorter now. And it's all online. And when you apply, you and one of your parents will be required to create what's called an FSA ID login and password. You will both want to write this down and save with your important papers, such as your Social Security card, birth certificate. You want to make sure you keep this in a place that you keep protected, because you will use this login for the rest of your financial aid days. And 20 years from now, when it's your children's time to complete the FAFSA, you're going to have to use this same information to log in. So that's why I say just go ahead, make sure it's going to be an email that you're going to use. You know, passwords and so forth. Just go ahead and put it in a safe spot. Now, you will want to make sure to list all the technical schools, colleges, and or universities you want to receive a copy of your FAFSA on this application. You can always go back in and make corrections if you need to, like to add us on there if you did not put us on there originally. But you can list, I think it's probably up to, I don't know, 10, 15 schools on there. Now, for Hope and Zell scholarships, these scholarships are only for residents of the state of Georgia. All Georgia resident students should have created an account at georgiafutures.org when they were in high school. But the high school has to send up the information to Georgia Student Finance Authority, because Georgia Student Finance Authority actually monitors the progress while the student is enrolled at any Georgia institution. And so it starts off from there, and there's checkpoints. So if you graduate as a high school Hope Scholar, you will be checked at every milestone, which is 30, 60, and 90 hours, and at the end of every spring term. Now, if for some reason you were to lose it, say for instance, after the spring term, you didn't have the 3.0 GPA, it's possible that you could get it back at 60, but you do have to regain that 3.0 GPA before that would be possible. And so that talks about a couple of things there in reference to that. But let me mention one other thing. In reference to selective service, most males between the ages of 18 and 26 are required to register with selective service. And that used to be a question on the FAFSA, and that's no longer on the FAFSA anymore. But it is still a requirement for state aid. So make sure that once you're, become 18 or older, you need to register with selective service. And it's really easy. You can actually go online and do it online. It takes less than probably 30 seconds to do that. But in the event that we invoice them for either Hope or GTAG, and you haven't registered, we would not be able to receive that money, because that is, like I said, a requirement for the state of Georgia to receive those funds. So now for, yes, because we're still talking about Hope. The Georgia Student Finance Commission makes all of the final decisions regarding Hope and Zell eligibility. So normally we receive a preliminary list in February, and then the final list in June or early July. So if you're not on the preliminary list, you could still be on the final list or vice versa. Please note that if you were not on the original award, not originally awarded, we can always go back and check for the updates. Of course, if you are deemed not eligible by the final updated transcript, we would have to remove that hope that was awarded, and that could increase your cost for the fall semester. Now, on the next slide, yes, the Department of Education randomly selects students for verification. So if you are selected, you will be notified by email from our office. We will let you know what documentation will be needed to complete the processing of your award. So please do not procrastinate. It is extremely crucial to your financial aid package to submit all documents needed well before the semester start date. Remember, first come, first serve. So with some particular scholarships and grants, if we have those, we're going to award those to the students that have completed those first. So make sure you get everything in, and don't procrastinate, because you could actually lose your spot, because as soon as we get students listed and awarded, and then we start what we call a tiger takeoff, where we have students going ahead and register for classes. So just make sure to, anytime you receive anything from the financial aid, you go ahead and get that taken care of as soon as possible. Now, so our next slide is going to be about direct loans. Majority of the students that live on campus have to get student loans to help pay the difference that is owed. Students are required to complete both the entrance counseling and the master promissory note. So if you complete only one of these requirements, your loan will not post to your account. Annual loan limits are $3,500 for subsidized and $2,000 for an unsubsidized. Now, sophomores are eligible for at least $4,500 and a subsidized, and $2,000 and an unsub. And so that is one thing we have to check to see if you're eligible for both sub, or if it has to be all unsub. But that is something that when we process your award, we would put that on there. But so the freshmen are eligible for at least $5,500, and the sophomore is eligible for the $6,500. Okay, so the next slide is in reference to the Parent Plus loan. Eligible parents can apply for a plus loan for their dependent children to help cover the cost of attendance. Any excess would be sent to the parent, and it would be sent to the parents usually at least 35 days after the semester starts, after all the fees have been taken care of. So any excess, say for instance, the parent, put in that they wanted, an additional $2,000 more or something like that, it is possible, they would be eligible to receive that, and it would be sent once the fees have been taken out of that Parent Plus loan. If for any reason the parent is denied, the student may be eligible to borrow up to $4,000 per year in an additional unsubsidized loan. So just in case the parent is denied, there is another option for the student. Now, like I said before, some of these funds are first come, first serve. So applying early is crucial. And so we were talking about some scholarships. Now, we've got some listed scholarships here. We've got merit-based scholarships for strong academic performance. We've got scholarships for athletes, talent-based scholarships in areas like music and theater, even scholarships for students who've been active in their communities. So, and then like ACDN, like for digital network. So, we do offer, additional scholarships for students in this area. And if you've worked hard or have a passion, they probably have a scholarship with your name on it, because we know that everyone's path is different, and we're here to support yours. if you're looking for a college that's big on support, rich in opportunity, and serious about helping you succeed, look no further than Andrew College. Choosing a college isn't just about where you'll be for the next 2 years. It's about where your future starts. And at Andrew College, you'll get a solid education, personal attention, and a chance to discover what you want to do next. So if you're looking for a place that feels like home, where you'll be supported and seen, and where you're actually enjoying learning, Andrew College is worth checking out. I hope to see you soon.
So Daphne, thank you so much. That was so great. And I love the passion that all of you, brought to the table and to the workshop this evening about Andrew College. I think there's so many unique things about Andrew College. And again, just to add to what you all said, that was just phenomenal. I mean, and just the distinctive characteristics, services, institution. You can go down the list as to why Andrew College is truly different than a number of institutions out there. So thank you so much. Very informative. So some of the remaining items that we have for our workshop tonight. So when you see Q&A, all right, so we're going to go ahead and ask some questions of our esteemed panelists. They've been great at answering questions that are coming in thus far, and we've got more and more continuing to come in. So we're going to go ahead and try to address some of these verbally. Again, keep in mind, one of the things that I will mention is that even after the workshop and the presentation specifically turns off, we will stay on for at least another 5 minutes, if not longer, to be able to answer the questions that are coming in the Q&A chat. So thank you so much to our audience, to our students and parents for doing that. Additionally, we're going to be showing a slide with a QR code for preview day. So get your phones ready for that, so you can scan that QR code. And then we also are going to go ahead and put up a poll, which we all hope that you do complete. Okay, and then Andrew College Preview Day. And Heather, if I can turn over to you for a minute, do you want to go ahead and highlight this?
Sure, absolutely. And I'm excited to answer some of the questions in the chat. We'll get to that in just a moment. But preview day is this Saturday, so you still have time and you can scan the QR code. And we would love for you to come and visit our campus. We invite both the parents and the student to come. So we do have the form that you can sign up to give us a heads up of who all you are bringing. And for the student, there is a t-shirt that you'll get. You just will include your t-shirt size when you do complete that form. So again, we are located at 501 College Street in Cuthbert, Georgia. The event will start, usually our people will start rolling in about 10 to 10:30 Eastern time to get registered, get signed in, and then we will go through lots of different things during that time. But you don't have to feel like you will be there all day, because it's going to be over by about 1:30, and we're going to feed you. There's going to be snacks. We're going to provide lunch for you and your family. There is no cost to attend. And so we invite you to come. We have a beautiful campus. We have so many different beautiful facilities and amazing people that we would love to have you meet. And then you do get to have that feel of what it actually looks like in person, and get to hear from, not just our faculty and staff, but some of our students as well.
So thank you so much, Heather. We appreciate that. And again, we've had that QR code on here, so please go ahead and scan that while you can. We really appreciate that. And we'll go ahead and put up our poll as well. We'll give you all a chance to complete the survey. And we also do have the direct contact information for our 3 esteemed speakers this evening. So we're going to keep this on here, so you have an email, you have a direct phone number. So any questions that may come up after the workshop that you want to reach out to Andrew College, don't hesitate. That's why they're here. They're very excited and passionate about talking about Andrew College. So again, contact information is right there. So go ahead and reach out with any additional questions that you may have. And now with that being said, let's go ahead and ask some of the additional questions that our Q&A tab continued to have questions coming in from the audience. So thank you so much for continuing to ask great questions. And one of the questions that I did have, and this, Heather, I'll go ahead and start with you, but this may be a question for all three of you. But if we could talk about affordability, can you talk a little bit about making sure not to leave any stone unturned or leave anything on the table as it relates to whether it be institutional aid or state aid, et cetera? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. I'm actually very passionate about this as I was a first generation college student for my own family, and I did not know and my family did not know that we had VA benefits that were available to us. And so when it came time for my daughter to attend college, exactly what Bradley said, I wanted to make sure that I did not leave any stone unturned. So when you're looking at, and of course, you're going to fill out that FAFSA if you are, living here in the United States. For those of you who are international, there's different options as well, but you want to be sure that you're looking at all of the aid. So if you've got, if you're connected, like we're connected, the Andrew College, we do have a scholarship for people that are affiliated with the Methodist Church, and there's some requirements for that. But there's things that, I didn't attend to Methodist Church. Being part of the Methodist Church is not a requirement. My daughter and my family, we're part of another church. And so we were making sure to check into all the options that were there. And sure enough, there were options out there. I see there's a question in the chat asking about students whose parents may have passed away due to sickness, whereas maybe institutionally, we may not offer something specific to that. We probably have something that is catered to your GPA or your involvement. Okay. So again, we're going to have something that is going to be available. Again, with it being 99% of our people that attend that get scholarships, you've got to know we've got something for everybody. But be sure that you don't just look at those maybe federal funds or institutional funds, that you're thinking about what organizations you and your family may be a part of. Who's your lender? Who's your bank? Did they have a scholarship? I tell this story all the time. We live we're here in Georgia, but I live just across the state line in Alabama. And there was a scholarship for Alabama Cattlemen's Association. Spoiler alert, I don't own any cows, but if you read the fine print, that the student could join for $15, and they had to join, write an essay, and submit their transcript. And lo and behold, we were blessed enough to be able to get that scholarship. So don't just read a scholarship at face value and think, oh, that doesn't sound like us, because we got the Alabama Cattlemen's Association. And again, we don't own any cows. So there's usually going to be things, all you got to do, instead of scrolling through TikTok and making somebody else money off of their views and clicks, be sure to spend some time and research and see what's out there. A quick Google search will tell you a whole lot, and you just keep up with that information, and it will, I tell students all the time, if you treat it like a job, it can very well pay you like a job. And those sort of things, you don't want to, again, leave money on the table. The diversity question, just to kind of address that just really quickly, I pulled that up because I saw it. I wanted to give you the official answer. All colleges, they report to iPads. And so for the 2023-2024 academic year, the breakdown of our student population was just over 45% Caucasian, 32.3% African-American, just over 11% Hispanic, a little over 3% 2 or more races, and then a little under 1% Asian. So a very diverse campus. We, are very welcoming, very warm, and very, happy to have students of all kinds. And so I hope that is helpful.
Great, Heather, thank you so much. That's great. And Daphne, I'm going to turn to you for a minute. And can you talk to me for a few minutes about your passion working in higher education, having done it for nearly 40 years? So, obviously feel free to tell a story, whatever the case may be, but why do you love higher ed?
Did you see her face? She looked at me like, don't say anything bad. I normally, I love it. I mean, just being able to help people achieve their goals, really, it just tugs at the heart. I mean, and there's just the students that you meet along the way and the friendships that you make. Sometimes I have to say, I know you, but I'm trying to figure out from what school I know you. But I always joke that I'm a glutton for punishment because I've stayed in financial aid so long, but I really just enjoy it. I really do.
Right now, and again, I think your track record, I mean, your incredible track record speaks to that. And then Paige, I'll ask you a similar question. Can you share a little bit about your passion for Andrew College? Hey, you can throw in your athletic experience, you can throw in experience that you have with current students today.
Yeah, I think, one of the best things I think about Andrew is that it is smaller than, one of your big Bamas and Auburns and Georgia school. And I think what's really nice about that is that everybody's going to know who you are and in a way look out for you. And I think that's one thing that, really made me excited and really happy to be here at Andrew. You're going to walk by somebody, you could walk by somebody new, but we're going to know your name pretty quickly because it is such a, tight-knit group of people that we have here. And I enjoy the fact that it's such a growing point. There are some students that a large campus just might not be the best fit for them. And maybe they just need a couple years, away from home before they can do that. And I think Andrew is a great stepping stone for that. I think it's great for those, and I'll speak on athletics side of things as well, of kind of still honing in your abilities and your talents before maybe going to that next level and to a bigger school, because we can really kind of watch your mechanics and really have an eye on, how to help you in the future. And so I think it's just a great stepping stone and a great community all together here at Andrew. And that's what, makes me really enjoy my job.
We just had a murder mystery too.
Yeah. Yep. So the
And
murder
I won.
is so much fun.
Yeah, we love the and I'm going to tie in kind of what Paige said about the different things for different students. I'm going to tie that into both the graduation rate question and the question about moving from an associate's to a bachelor's, because those are they're connected a little bit, and I want to explain that. So one of the things about the graduation rate, whereas I think the overall graduation rate from Andrew College, it traditionally has been around 27%. And while that may seem low, you have to think we primarily in the past have been a 2-year organization, right? So many of our students would then transfer on, use those very well-earned credits that they earned at Andrew College and move on to a 4-year institution. And that's the beauty about what the next question is that we, the beauty of moving from not just offering only associate degrees, but now offering those bachelor degrees, we get to see students be able to achieve their bachelor's degree and go on to their professions and achieve that goal. And I'll tell you one of the things that just comes to mind. We have many of our education students who have in that program, they will have jobs waiting on them as soon as they finish that bachelor program. It has been so well received. And so again, that graduation rate, don't let that number, it might throw you off a little, but it has more to do with the fact that many of our students in the past have transferred on to other 4-year institutions, where now we're excited because we're going to offer so many additional 4-year programs and bachelor programs right here on our campus. And we're excited to be able to offer that for our students and see them graduate right here.
Excellent. Well, that was great. I mean, thank you so much, because you answered some of the questions I was going to throw out. You all did such a great job following up on the questions that were coming in through the Q&A. So thank you so much for for going through each and every one of those, and then also addressing some of the pop-up random questions that I threw out there as well. So we really appreciate that. And that's going to go ahead and wrap up our workshop presentation this evening. I do want to thank our esteemed panelists so much for their content, their passion, answering questions. So great. Andrew College is a special place. We also want to thank students and parents for taking time out this evening on Thursday. Thank you so much. And then we're going to go ahead and now turn off the presentation, but do keep in mind that our panelists will stay on for 5 minutes at least to make sure that any additional Q&A questions that do come in on the Q&A section of our presentation, that those are answered. So this will wrap up the workshop presentation, and we'll get to continuing to complete the Q&A if there are any remaining. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Have a great evening.